right? It's no longer just do it. It's be scooted.
Just like text right there. Just be scooted.
That's actually the new motto for the Big Access podcast. Be scooted. Well, welcome on into this week's episode of the Big Access Podcast. On this week's episode, we've got a couple of cool guests with us. We've got our integrations team. We actually have 2/3 of the integrations team. David is not here today. David actually works remote and doing a remote podcast where we like to have some people here in an office and then one remote. It's kind of difficult, but David was like, hey, that's okay. I don't need to be on. Let's send Billy and TJ, and they'll be able to take care of it. So we do have 2/3 of our integrations team here today where we're going to be talking all about the API, about integrations, about why we go about focusing on integrations. It's going to be a fun little topic today. So I'm excited to have you guys on. So thanks a ton for coming into the studio today and taking time to chat with us.
Thanks for having us.
Excited to be here.
So Billy, you've been on the podcast before.
I believe it was my second day here.
It was something like that. And I learned at that point that you were really into parasailing, right? Or paragliding?
Yeah.
What's the correct term there? Is it paragliding?
It would be paragliding. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been doing that lately?
You know, so through the winter, you don't do it. And this summer's been insane. So I've been climbing a lot and doing a lot of trips into the desert south.
Ooh.
And that's been really fun. And yeah, I've been looking to get back into paragliding here, but it's a big time commitment. So,
well, I mean, just on that last episode, go back and listen to this episode with Billy and Dave last time that we had them on, and just hearing the intricacies that go into paragliding, dude, it's insane. Like you have to think on a totally different level. Yeah, this might be one of the smartest men I know.
Oh man! Wow, pressure. You got to think of that 20,000 foot level. But yeah, I mean,
literally, because you're at 20,000 feet sometimes.
Yeah. Well, close, but
maybe not that high.
18,000 feet is the legal limit. Yeah.
Are you serious? How high have you gotten before?
Probably like 17,000 feet.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
that is so high up there.
Yeah, the crazy part is like you are on some side of a mountain like Grandeur, right? Yeah, and it'll be I don't know, maybe like 95 degrees outside. And you just hiked up this mountain and you're like dripping sweat and you like sit down and you're at a launch and there's no shade and you're just trying to cool off. And then you get on all of your like gnarly K2 Everest gear and you're in just puffies and stuff like that. And you're like, okay, let's go. Cause where you're going to go is going to be, probably like 15 to 20 degrees. And
gosh.
Yeah. And you have a 20-mile-an-hour headwind. And so, yeah, it's pretty gnar, but it also takes like, an outing like that would be anywhere from like 5 to 6 hours, easily.
Jeez, dude.
And my partner is like, oh, let's hang out for like the, one day that I have off. Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a big one to say, but I try to do that maybe like 10 times a year and do like a big day.
That is so cool.
Yeah. But
yeah, one day maybe I'll aspire to be that cool.
That is cool.
TJ, this is TJ. TJ, you're the new guy on the team.
Yes.
So, but you're not the newest guy here at PDK anymore. We've had a lot of actually new guys since you joined the team. But tell us a little bit about what you do on the integrations team and like what your hobbies might be.
So I am on the integrations team. My name's TJ, and I kind of do the same thing that Billy does. I help build integrations, maintain integrations, and I'm still learning the ropes a little bit, but I'm getting the hang of things, and I really like working here. I'm not as cool as Billy. I don't have as many.
I don't think anybody is.
I know he's like so adventurous and cool. But some of my hobbies are, I like to ski. So growing up here in Utah, I skied for most of my childhood, and I still ski, not as much. And then I like to hang out with my kids. And then recently I've started playing pickleball.
Oh my gosh, isn't it so much fun?
It's so fun, and I'm not like the most athletic guy, so it's kind of easy to be good at it.
Yeah.
Which I love.
So I got to tell you this story. So my grandpa is really into pickleball. And this guy's 75 years old, but he's in this retirement village, and he moved there and he loves it. And He's like, yeah, well, I started playing pickleball with all these guys, but now I have to go drive 20 minutes south because they don't like me because I'm too good. And so I go and play with all the 50-year-olds so I can actually have a competitive match. I'm just like, gosh, great.
What a flex.
Well, dude, he's just like, yeah, they don't like it when I just pound the ball right at their chest.
That would be me. I'd be mad that he's too good.
So anyways, he's challenged me to pickleball a few times, and I got to actually take him up on it, but I'm not good at pickleball either, but it is a lot of fun.
But it's fun because even if you're not good, you still have a good time, and
true.
you can still return the ball every once in a while. So
Isn't it insane at how fast pickleball just picked up and how popular it is?
0 to 100.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Like Dallin's gotten really into pickleball. Dallin gets like super hyper fixated on things, and that's his latest hyper fixation is pickleball. But like Sophia on our content writer, she's really into pickleball as well, and like she's really good. Dallin and her have actually teamed up to go and do a tournament together.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the community aspects. Like if you go to a pickleball court, people are like playing music and like people know each other's names, and it's just this really inclusive, awesome community of people who are like, hey, I just want to be outside and have fun and like not do something that's crazy hard and expensive.
Right.
And it kind of just perfectly hits that sweet spot.
Yeah. Like it can be competitive, but it's not like die hard. Well, some people
it can
are.
be
Some people are
competitive.
dying.
Some people are, but
My grandpa has like a $400 pickleball paddle.
Oh my.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about somebody who's just trying to spend all of his money before he goes.
I'm not to that point yet.
No,
cool.
me neither. I'm sitting here looking at like this $30 set on Amazon, thinking, hey, that looks pretty sweet.
I mean, it's the athlete, not the paddle, right?
That's what I'd like to. That's what I want to say. I don't think that's what my grandpa's gonna say.
Well, I guess the proof is in the pudding because he's playing guys 25 years his younger, right?
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds to me like we need to put together like a PDK pickleball night.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I got extra paddles.
Dude, so you're into pickleball too?
I am.
Oh man.
He's into
All right.
everything.
He is into everything.
I don't know.
Dude, your ping pong skills, dude, you wasted me the other day. That was like terrifying.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, at least he's all apologetic. Yeah, we also take our ping pong very seriously here.
It's
You
true.
walk into our break room and we legit have like a 75-inch TV that just has like scoreboards and brackets, and right now I think we're in the middle of a relegation season, so we've built everything out into like the Premier League status of like soccer in Europe with ping pong, and it's hey, I don't think I'm going to get relegated, but I'm definitely not going up. You're going up into the Premier League.
Thank you. I think I am going up into the Premier League.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to stay. I have legit never moved up, and I have never moved down in our relegation league.
I feel like that's solid.
I'm where I'm at. I lose half my games, and I win half my games in this league.
It's commendable. You also don't play as much as I do.
I don't. I have been really busy. I used to try to play a lot, but I've been a little busy
You have a
lately.
job. I understand. Yeah.
I guess there's our priorities. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and let's dive into the actual topic today, the API. As all of you know, PDK does have an open API. Now, what does that mean? What is an API used for? Is it just some fancy term that we use just to help sell PDK? I mean, yes and no. But we're going to get into what that actually is and teach you guys a little bit more about what that process might look like. Ultimately, here at PDK, we are not one of those companies that is going to go out and do every little thing and be okay at it, right? You've got a lot of competitors out there who want to have their platform be able to do everything. Now, when you do that, you do sacrifice quality. Ultimately, here at PDK, we know we're the best at access control. But if we were to go and purchase like a camera and start implementing that, are we going to be the best at that? No, we're not. I mean, there are plenty of great camera manufacturers out there. Is it going to be the same with like visitor management system? Probably not, no. But we do know that we are masters at access control. And so how can we still give customers the best experience possible? Well, that's going to be by integrating with those other companies that are the best at what they do. So we do have the ability to use an API to integrate with other manufacturers, and that's what we're ultimately going to talk about today, is what does that process look like? Why do we do that? And let's talk with some of the geniuses behind making these integrations happen. So first and foremost, Billy, I want you to introduce the API. We have an open API. What is that?
So say you want to open a door and you have a computer and an internet connection. Because PDK is a cloud-based platform, you can send an HTTP request, just go onto some sort of server and send a request to PDK systems, and a door will open. So any action that takes place in the PDK user interface, like the pdk.io, you can do pretty much through our API. You can add people to groups, you can remove them, you can grant credentials, open doors, lock doors, pretty much, yeah. The whole functionality of PDK is wrapped up in our API, and it just gives a nice layer, an interface for third parties to interact with PDK systems.
There you go. Anything else to add on to that, Teach?
Yeah, so I'm pretty new here, and one of the things that I think is really great from what I've been working with is how nice the API is. Very well documented, so it's super easy to use. And, it just makes, if you don't want to use PDK.io, like the website, the portal, you don't have to. You can do whatever you want outside of that with your own system. And it opens PDK up to so many other things. It's really nice.
I mean, I think with something like the storage software platforms that we've got, right? In that situation, you never even touch PDK.io. Everything is done right directly within their storage software, but yet PDK.io is able to send all that information right over there to be able to generate a really good positive user experience.
Yeah, I mean, the integrations that we build actually exclusively use the API. So we have, the ability to use other tools that are internal to our system, but we are strong believers of using our own tools that third parties will use, because if something sort of doesn't feel just right, we'll actually notice it, and then we'll fix it, and we'll document it and make it so it's as clean and easy to implement as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So when somebody's wanting to start an integration, whether that might be, a dealer who has a customer who's looking to have a integration. We have some really talented dealers out there who have the ability to go out and code and program and have a lot of fun there. But then we've got other third-party manufacturers who, have that, have their own in-house software team that's looking to integrate. What does that process look like of maybe starting that integration?
Well, you're going to want to reach out to the integrations team, and you need to go through the contract, because there is a nominal fee. We want to make sure that we're exposing the API to people who are serious.
Open API does not mean free API, right?
Yeah. It is a very small fee.
Yeah.
It's not exorbitant. We're not trying to do rent seeking or something.
We're not making money off of it, right?
Yeah, it's literally just a small speed bump to make sure that only people who are seriously using the API are. And
it keeps it safe too,
Exactly.
That's true.
If there's some sort of fee to pay, you can't just have bots, signing up and hitting it all the time.
Exactly.
So that's part of it.
Yeah, and so there's a contract, and you go through it, and then you're given client credentials, and those credentials can be used to interact with one of your systems.
Nice. And so when somebody comes and signs up, is that something that they take the API and they work on it by themselves? Is it something that you guys build out? How does that work?
So the API is already built out. All the endpoints are there. It's very well documented. You can actually look at the documentation before signing up. So if you want to look and see how it works, see if it's going to work for you, you can go check it out. But then at that point, it's open to you to do whatever you want. My favorite thing is automating stuff. So this is a great tool to automate processes or sync with your system to automate any automations you've got there with PDK. So really it's just you sign up, sign the contract, pay the small fee, and then the world's your oyster. You do whatever you want.
Another cool thing is that with the automation is we also have webhook notifications built into our API. And so you can subscribe to events and you can do your updates or any kind of syncs in real time, which is a really nice feature. And our webhooks are super fast, under a second. They're really, really performant.
And there's so many events.
Yeah.
Like almost too many. not too many, but like pretty much anything that happens with PDK, any type of event, you can get a notification for.
It's true.
So it makes syncing and notifications and everything just really, really nice.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
We want to bundle as much functionality in our API as possible because we're the ones using it, right?
Yeah.
So
that is really cool. So somebody comes, gets the API. They either then go off and start building something, or they're working with you closely, and we build it together. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about maybe an integration that you guys have done in the past that was a lot of fun to work with, what that one does, and then also maybe something secretive that's coming up that you're working on. Let's not mention any names.
Okay.
But kind of let's start with something maybe in the past that was a lot of fun building, and kind of maybe some trials that we ran into with it, and how we were able to overcome those, and ultimately how it works, something like that.
I think my favorite one has been a VMS integration that we built and we launched a few months ago.
Okay.
Could I name the name?
You can name previous ones.
Okay, yeah. It was the network optics integration.
Yeah.
That one's really amazing because you essentially go through PDK.io, you set up your integration, you configure it, you map all of your readers and doors, and then you can go to the network optics interface and you can open doors with a little soft trigger. It'll have like a little lock or unlock. And that is just, it's so nice because you don't need to be bouncing between two different interfaces. You have all of the functionality you need in one interface. And the VMS interface is taking priority, right? Because that's where like the actual information on who's opening the door is, right? Other than you have like card credentials, but you want to have the picture, right? And that's just so great because it makes it really, really easy. I think we exposed this at ISC West.
We did. We
right?
showed it at ISC.
And the other thing is that like the amount of positive responses we got from that just felt really good because it seemed like it improved dealers' lives, and it just made it's a great integration, and I'm really proud of it.
It really was so cool. I mean, when we were at ISC showing it off, it just blew people's minds away, right? I mean, we had an integration previously with the network optics software, and it was a long, cumbersome process. Mm-hmm. It worked great, but then it was always like, okay, we got to go and add this and this. Okay, then we have to go and basically code our own actions into this. It worked, but it took a while. Now, like, you can legit get doors synced with cameras in seconds.
Yeah.
It is the coolest experience. And so I'm glad you picked that one, because that one is definitely my favorite experience.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And the thing is that the challenges with that particular integration are the same challenges with every integration, because we're dealing with a third party's API, which we don't know. And we have to go investigate it and see how it overlays the functionality that they provide, the functionality that we provide. And figuring out the best use case for dealers and also the dealers' customers.
Yeah.
And that it's a very we'll take in feedback and we're continuing to refine and just optimize it and just improve it. So, but yeah, it's a great integration that I feel really good about.
For sure.
Yeah. I have a comment on that one too. So I didn't build that one, but I have done a little bit of maintenance on it, and I will say it's done very well. Billy and David did a great job. The code's super easy to read, but that's what we want our API to be used for, Like, this is something that network optics users can use. And they don't have to even know what PDK looks like. They can still open the doors. They can click a button using what they already know how to use and accessing our system without even having to know what it looks like or how it works. So that's what we like.
Yeah. That's awesome. Let's go to one that is being worked on. Do not mention any names here.
All right.
Billy, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
I know you want to do it. But we've got a few different integrations that we're working on right now. What is one that you are so excited about?
It's so hard to not name this one. All I'm going to say is that it gives the ability of the third party to make their own integrations.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's
Super
a lot of
simple, right?
There's a lot of so one of the things that we do on the integrations team is we also do developer support. And so say you're using our API and you're having some issues, you send one of the three of us an email, and we respond with, some sort of helpful text being like, oh, it's here in the documentation, you need to go through this flow. But there's a lot of questions we get, which is like, hey, I want, my secretary, or I want somebody who, you don't need a lot of functionality. So how do I do this? And you're like, ooh, you have to like build your own integration for that simple task. So the integration that we're providing, which is going to be coming out shortly, will allow pretty much anyone to configure a very short, simple integration that does things across multiple platforms. It's going to be really, really cool. This is one of the most exciting integrations. I've been looking forward to this one for months now, and it's great.
I know when you're talking about now. And I didn't have any prior knowledge going into this episode about which one he was going to mention, and like the fact that you mentioned it, I'm like, oh boy,
yeah,
this is going to be so good. I'm so pumped about it. Yeah. Do you have a certain one that you're excited about?
I think probably that same one.
Okay.
I've been working on that one as well. And I think that one will open this up to maybe less technical people. It'll be super easy to set up workflows and integrate without saying too much, but there's tons of other services and apps that also integrate with this one.
Yeah. So
it'll be super easy for just anyone with no technical knowledge to connect different systems. So that one's going to be really exciting.
Let's go. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I think one of the coolest things about the integrations, though, is how simple and easy they are to find now in PDK.io. I mean, beforehand, it used to be, hey, I have to go and download this driver, and then I have to connect in this way. Now there is a full integrations tab within PDK.io where you can go and just see a full list of all the different integrations that work with PDK.io and start building that out.
Yeah.
What was that process like building that to make it all work directly within the software?
Well, that's actually the core software team who built that out because it's part of PDK.io. But we worked pretty closely because, the scope of configurability changes depending on integration. Like you might want to just enable one and then it's done and that's all you can do. Yeah. Or you might want to actually do like the network optics, have like a mapping of cameras and readers. And so you need to go to a configure. But also say you're a dealer and you want to expose the fact that this is an integration that we have and you want your customers to come and call you and be like, hey, will you enable this for me? And so having the scope of, who can see it, who can configure it, that was a process that we took some time and thought about and wanted to make the right decision on, what do our dealers want?
Yeah.
And so that kind of just brought about the tile and the integrations tab.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
I know that, whenever I go in and I'm trying to, show off something or create a different video or some training documentation, we're able to just go in there and just see it all right there. You just toggle a button. And then suddenly you're able to then go log into the other platform and start syncing things automatically. Yeah. It's so cool. So you need to go and check out the integrations tab. It is only available on a PDK.io 2.0 software, so you do need to have that or be looking at it on a 2.0 platform. But that's a very, very cool feature that I love. Well, guys, we are just about out of time on this week's episode, but I wanted to thank you guys again for coming in and joining us, talking all about the API, getting people pumped about it. So thanks a ton.
Always a pleasure, Brach.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
thank you.
And for you guys who have not already done so, be sure to subscribe to this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and let us know if there's anything else that you are looking to learn in particular, and we'll be sure to add that to an upcoming lesson. But anyways, guys, thanks again for tuning in. We will see you next time.
Cheers.